According to his daughter May Fazey Moore, her father Fazey, quote, was one of the spiritual giants of our age. He was one of the heroes of the cause which had captivated his soul and to which he had, like a lover to his beloved, given his all to his very last breath before rising phoenix-like from the exhausted, burnt-up body to soar into the realms of infinite joy towards the presence of those noble souls who were his heroes. End quote. According to a transcript of one of his talks delivered in Melbourne, Australia, November 26, 1969, Mr. Fazey shares, quote, "To me, many of the hard problems of all the religions of the world have been explained by the Bab very easily. He brought these things from heaven to earth and said this is what it means. Why do we pray? The Bab says when we pray, what do we take to God? What do we talk to him of? What do we offer him? Do you offer your knowledge? He's the source of knowledge. Do you offer him your wealth? Do you offer him your strength, the strength of body, your mental strength? All these things are not even worthy of being mentioned in the sight of God. Therefore, why do we pray? The Bab says, I will give you an example. Suppose you want to go and visit a king. You will go here and there and ask many people, what is it that the king does not have in his treasury? I would like to take it as a gift to him. And for instance, supposedly somebody will say if you take a moonstone, he does not have it. Then you will take it. Now, if you take the whole treasure of the world, God has it. The whole knowledge of the world, he's the source of it. Strength, he's the source of power. But the Bab says, as I advise you and tell you, there is one thing that God does not have in his treasure house, and that is nothingness. Take your nothingness to him. When you sit down in front of him and you pray, have an attitude that you are nothing as compared with God. You take that attitude and he says, this will immediately be accepted. And so, spiritual technology. In Module 6, Fundamentals of the Heroic Mastery series, philosopher and CEO Brian Johnson, my coach, highlights the importance of dialing in the following fundamentals: eating, moving, sleeping, breathing, focusing, celebrating, and prospering. In Part 6, Focusing, participants hit the focus gym. They train their mental muscles and commit to a daily meditation rep for 11 minutes, reinforcing the action behind the hallmark of a flourishing human being, namely their ability to focus their time, their energy, when, where, and for how long they want. Meditation does wonders for such a goal. We know meditation is often cited as the most powerful spiritual technology available to humankind, and much has been researched and written about said technology over the past half-century. Author Matthieu Ricard's book, Why Meditate, is a great introduction to said technology. But before I go there, it should be noted that Matthieu Ricard's brain has been studied by more neuroscientists over the last 20 years than probably any other monk on the planet. Ricard writes, quote, over the course of the last 10 years, I have also participated in several research programs intended to document the long-term effects of meditation practice on the brain and on behavior. This research has shown that it is possible. It's possible to make significant progress in developing qualities such as attention, emotional balance, altruism, and inner peace. Other studies have also demonstrated the benefits of meditating for 20 minutes a day for a period of 6 to 8 weeks. Now, these benefits include a decrease in anxiety, in vulnerability from pain, and in the tendency toward depression and anger, as well as strengthening the power of attention, boosting the immune system, and increasing one's general well-being. Thus, no matter what point of view you approach it from, whether that of personal transformation, the development of altruistic love, or physical health, meditation emerges as a factor essential for leading a balanced life, rich in meaning, end quote. Put succinctly, meditation might just be the silver bullet that researchers searched a millennial for. Ricard adds, quote, the ultimate reason for meditating is to transform ourselves in order to be better able to transform the world. To put in another way, we transform ourselves so that we can become better human beings and serve others in a wiser and more effective way. Meditation, thus, gives our life the noblest possible meaning." End quote. Let us work to embed a meditation practice in our lives, to reconnect with our innate nobility and find deeper meaning and service to the world. Yet, what of prayer? Might Brian and other coaching programs and platforms start to see a case for prayer as the next and arguably most important fundamental, that is more so than eating or sleeping, focusing, breathing, celebrating, and or prospering? Or at the very least, might they consider adding it to their programs? You see, built on a strong storehouse of meditation that is true concentrated attention, prayer is the next technological frontier. But what do I mean by prayer? The website Baha'i.org captures the essence of prayer perfectly. They state, quote, "Just as our bodies require nourishment to develop properly, we need regular prayer for our spiritual sustenance and health. Prayer is food for the soul. It deepens the love of God in our hearts and draws us closer to Him. There is nothing sweeter in the world of existence than prayer. The most blessed condition is the condition of prayer and of supplication. To live in a state of prayer entails not only uttering sacred verses in moments of devotion, it suggests too that throughout the day we should turn our hearts towards God." End quote. In a recent post that I wrote, "It's Time to Get Going," I shared Maslow's universal law that what one can be, one must be. Prayer, the greatest of all technologies, can be used to determine said purpose. In his book, Life Visioning, the founder and spiritual director of the Agape International Spiritual Center, Michael Bernard Beckwith, encourages his readers to walk through the life visioning process. Here, the reader is instructed to pose to their highest selves, that is, from a deep meditative state, the following questions. What is the highest vision for my life? What seeks to emerge in, through, and as my life? Or in the case of a project or a business, what's the highest vision for this project or for this business? Next, what must I become in order to manifest this vision? What qualities must I cultivate? Third, what must I release to manifest this vision? And this might include habits, mindsets, compulsive behaviors, things of that nature. And then finally, 4, what talents, gifts, skills, and qualities do I already possess that will serve this vision? You see, this moves you into a state of being and having rather than trying to get something. In other words, through prayer, one begins to see the highest version of themselves emerge, as well as the requisite talents, skills, qualities, skills, and abilities required to manifest said vision. So, what if we changed our requests, we changed our prayers, and began to simply ask, that is, of the most great Spirit, how can I serve the greater will, the greater purpose today? More, might prayer be the key to unlock the latent talents, gifts, skills, and qualities we possess to live on purpose in service to others? All right, so here's my pitch. I'm selling to those listening the power of prayer, making it the highest form of technology in existence today. Are you buying? If prayer allows one to see the highest version of themselves, then it is the means by which said version of oneself becomes reality. How could you pass on that? Prayer has the power to bring God's will into existence, and quite frankly, what more could we be asking for? So what of your prayers? Do they change in a bear or a bull market? There are no limits to this order. All orders are good till canceled. Whether you're going long or you're going short, your IPO is what the markets have been waiting for, and the dividends from this investment are unlike anything the material world has ever seen. So buy. Start asking to see and live more of your potential. After all, your requests increase your ability and your capacity to serve 10x. Make your requests urgent. I pray so. Again, from Baha'i.org, quote, prayer in its highest form is a pure expression of loving praise for God. The true worshiper, while praying, should endeavor not so much to ask God to fulfill his wishes and desires, but rather to adjust these and make them conform to the divine will. Only through such an attitude can one derive that feeling of inner peace and contentment which the power of prayer alone can confer." End quote. Yet, it's also natural that we would often beseech and supplicate God for assistance. So after such prayer, we would reflect and act upon what appears to be the best way forward, and then see if our efforts are confirmed. We need to have complete trust in the mercy of God and be certain that He will grant that which is best for us. And so I find it timely, I find it fitting to share the wisdom of Baha'u'llah, whose words Russian author Count Leo Tolstoy refers to as, quote, "the highest, the purest form of religious teaching," end quote. Baha'u'llah says, quote, "The universe is pregnant with these manifold bounties, awaiting the hour when the effects of its unseen gifts will be made manifest in this world, when the languishing and sore athirst will attain the living kathwar of their well-beloved, and the erring wanderer, lost in the wilds of remoteness and nothingness, will enter the tabernacle of life and attain reunion with his heart's desire. In the soul of whose heart will these holy seeds germinate? From the garden of whose soul will the blossoms of the invisible realities spring forth? Verily I say, so fierce is the blaze of the bush of love burning in the Sinai of the heart, that the streaming waters of holy utterance can never quench its flame. Oceans can never allay this Levanthian's burning thirst, and this phoenix of the undying fire can abide nowhere save in the glow of the countenance of the well-beloved. Therefore, O brother, kindle with the oil of wisdom the lamp of the Spirit within the innermost chamber of thy heart, and guard it with the globe of understanding, that the breath of the infidel may extinguish not its flame nor dim its brightness. Thus we have illuminated the heavens of utterance with the splendors of the sun of divine wisdom and understanding, that thy heart may find peace, that thou mayest be of those who, on the wings of certitude, have soared unto the heaven of the love of their Lord, the All-Merciful." End quote. To close, let's return to the wise words of Mr. Feyzi, again through the lens of his daughter. Quote, "Many of his analogies were drawn from the world of nature and from objects around him. Speaking on one occasion about the human heart, he compared it to the vase on the table. He remarked on its beauty, smoothness, and delicate form, noting that the glass had no color of its own, and when empty, allowed everything to be seen through it. But as soon as it was filled, it took on the color of whatever was poured into it. It lost its clarity. It became like a mirror of self-admiration, seeing no one. So I ask, what of your vase? Be mindful of what you're pouring into it." Quick PS. A friend recently shared the following excerpt from author and activist Charles Eisenstein's recent series of essays, and this is Charles quoting, "I know you, brother. I know who you really are. I know why you are really here. I know you as someone who loves life. I know you as someone who can serve what he loves, even in the face of the worst thing in the world," end quote. Well, I pray to know myself as my friend knows me, in complete service to what I love and who I am called to serve. And may we all remember the brilliance of Dan Millman, who said, quote, "You are not here to contact your highest self. You are here to become it."